everybody, welcome back to another episode of Big D's and Liam's Custom Garage. It is Wednesday. Today's episode, of course, back on the Chevy 350. Now, I'm sure you guys are probably getting tired of hearing that at this point, but
we're almost done.
We're almost done, yes. Today we're going to get the intake manifold installed, the valve covers installed, and the headers. We decided to go ahead and clean up the headers. Actually, Liam cleaned up the headers. So headers will also go back on today. Liam, I think, has a minor update of what should be here tomorrow.
Yes, the strut tower braces, the aftermarket strut tower braces for my car, the MX-5 Project Void, are coming in tomorrow. Yeah, they're going to help stiffen up the car. Then I have some other things I'm going to order, and that'll be also coming soon.
Yep. So Monday's episode, be looking forward to that one, guys. We are going to be installing those in Project Void on Monday's episode. So that will be cool. And then hopefully Wednesday, if everything goes right, we should be doing a test.
Yeah.
Unless you want to wait until after you get some more of your suspension stuff installed.
Yeah, I have a couple more things coming in involving steering and suspension and bracing and stuff like that. So we're going to do a few things before we do our next test.
Okay.
So that should be coming in the next week or so.
Okay. Well, that'll be good. It will obviously, that test, when we do it, will be a more of a G test, not a high speed. So
and endurance test. We're going to drive the car around and check the coolant system that we just installed, and monitor those temperatures over different road conditions and stuff.
Yeah, we're gonna try to find some different places out of the way that are a little twisty and stuff that we can kind of put it through its paces.
Yeah.
You know, we go up north just a little bit and get out of the desert valley. There's a lot of back roads up there that go through the forests and stuff.
Even north of Phoenix and I-17, there's some really steep, high-speed, just highway.
Yeah, that too.
That we can go up and down hills. That's where I actually got close to overheating the car going up a 6% grade at about 70 miles an hour.
That was before we changed this? Yeah.
That's before we changed the coolant system.
That was when you were doing a trip up to Sedona, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's when I had the idea that this is not going to be good for repeated racing.
Oh, do tell them, even though we found out with your particular car, it's not really going to be an issue.
Some people recommend that you change the gasket to an early style aluminum gasket on the
head gasket.
Yeah, on that 1.8 liter engine. But I found
when
out
you
that
do the coolant swap.
I found out that an endurance racing crew chief or head mechanic on a particular I forget the name of the guy, but he has run both gaskets with this particular model, and it made no real difference whatsoever.
Yeah. So yeah. We're good there. We kind of thought we might have ran into something serious, but then Liam did a little bit more digging and found out it's not really that big of an issue. But if you guys are doing this swap and you feel that you think that you need it, or it gives you a little bit more comfort or ease, then go ahead and change the head gasket like they recommend.
Yes.
But
I think it's 99 to 01 Miata style.
Yeah.
Before they changed the head gasket to the configuration it is now on my vehicle.
Yeah.
That's what the coolant system was originally designed for.
Yeah.
But they've also found that even without that gasket, with the new redirected flow gasket that they use on my style 03 Miata, that it works just fine with that too.
Yeah.
They think that there might be slight increases in heating on the 1 and 2 piston, but not above recommended levels, so it's not that big a deal.
Exactly. So yeah, we're basically telling you guys after the research we've done, you'll be safe without changing the head gasket.
Yeah.
But again, if you're one of them people that thinks that at your comfort and ease needs to change it,
Yeah.
feel free to do so.
Yeah.
So
It does get better flow, but only
only
minor changes. Yeah.
Yeah, like really minute. You're not even going to notice it probably.
Yeah.
So, I think that covers Project
Yeah.
Void. Okay, so real quick, we're going to run outside and we're going to discuss something else. So, we'll be right back with you in just a second. All right, guys, welcome back. We are going to talk about Side Chick. That is right. I said Side Chick. If you guys are not familiar with the page, Side Chick is my 2004 Harley Road King. She is also part of the channel. She just has not made any mechanical appearances yet, but she's getting ready to. I'm going to show you guys why real quick. Down here, I have a set of air compressed. There's a air compressor behind this chrome shield, believe it or not. Air compressed dual trumpet air horns. Well, they normally have a rubber grommet behind the black bracket here, behind the center bolt. I don't know if you guys can see that. There's the center bolt right there. There's normally a rubber grommet to give it movement because Harley motors vibrate like a mofo. Well, the rubber grommet went bad. And I decided that, fine, I'll get rid of the rubber grommet and I'll just mount the horns solid to the motor. Well, that was all fine and good for about a year. And then I'm riding home from over here one day, actually. And if you look real close, you see these two nuts and bolts that look like they're just there randomly. They're not. This shiny part right here going up the center, that is aluminum. Basically what happened, you see what happened was, from the vibration over time, the actual mounting bracket itself that the trumpet horns mount on literally snapped in half. I was able to save the horns. They didn't fall all the way to the ground because their rubber hose actually caught them, thank God. So I was able to save those. So we're going to be doing some fabricating here on a future, very soon future episode to get those remounted up. Yeah, she's a little dirty right now, but me and Liam are going to be starting to go regularly to the car cruise-ins, either on Friday or Saturday nights, and Project Void, which is in the driveway right now. Side Chick will also be cleaned up and detailed, and she will also be in, I don't know if you want to call it a booth. It'll also be on display at our car cruise-ins. If you guys are wondering, the ape hangers and stuff like that, I did all that work myself. Those are 18-inch ape hangers. I extended all the wiring myself and ran it all through the handlebars for a clean look. I did all the steel braided cable install myself. The exhaust system that's on it is the final exhaust system, Liam's running the camera, he can confirm this. I've had this bike now for 6 years, and that is the 5th exhaust system that I have had on Sidechick. Well, not whole exhaust system, just muffler options. I've had straight pipe fishtails on her twice, which made her sound just ridiculously crazy loud. And I wanted to tone her back. And then at Bike Week a couple years ago, Vance and Hines had just came out with these new mufflers. They had just debuted them at Daytona Bike Week, and I special ordered them, and believe it or not, guys, I am the first person in Arizona to have ever ordered and ran these Vance and Hines mufflers. The seat is brand new. Yes, it's dirty, but it's brand new. I just put this seat on here not 8 months ago. The factory one started falling apart, so that's a brand new seat. I do have a very, very cushy, nice kind of curve around backrest for passengers, but I don't have a reason to have it on the bike right now, and personally the bike looks better without it. I only run it on the bike when it's needed, and right now it's not needed. Real quick, just for viewing pleasure, I'll let Liam back up a little bit, that way it doesn't blow the speaker out on the phone, because when you're too close to it, you can't really hear it. So just real quick, I will fire her up because she's still warm, because I haven't been here that long. Okay, yes, neutral. She's a wicked little bitch. She moves, but also, as you guys know, unless for some reason plans change, like I'm able to find money other ways to pay for some of the stuff for Project Dark Sin, if I'm not able to find the other ways, then Sidechick's gonna be for sale in March. But if between now and then, which could happen because March is a ways off, but if possible, if something does happen to where I'm able to find other ways, then Sidechick will be sticking around. So we'll just have to wait and see when March gets here. Okay? All right, so you guys have seen that part. We're now going to go and work on the 350. So here we go. All right, guys. So real quick, we're going to show you guys how to properly install your cork gaskets on your valve covers. A lot of people make the mistake of putting RTV on both sides. That is a big no-no. You only put RTV/gasket sealer on the valve cover side. Nothing goes on the head contact side. Okay, so we're going to show you real quick how you do this. Pretty much just like the oil pan and the timing cover. Pull the plug out of there. Come down here. Take your RTV. If you just Couple dabs here and there. Like so. Basically just enough to give you some smearing, because you do gotta smudge it out. Okay, I'm gonna let Liam do his. While he is doing his dabbing, I will demonstrate. I will angle my valve cover like so. You see the little dots of the RTV. Take your finger. Yes, this is messy. I recommend using rubber gloves if you have them. If not, it's fine. It's not going to hurt you. It's just messy as hell. Okay, now.
It does come off.
Yes, it does come off.
Takes some light scrubbing, but it comes off.
Yes, it does. Liam, could you hit me with, or I'll do it. I need a little bit more. See, Liam kind of did the scatter bead instead of the dabbing like I did, and that was actually the better move. I should know this. I'm the fucking motor assembler. I should. Okay, just putting a little.
I just did a plumbing bead like I was taught.
I'm just doing a little bit more. There we go.
Just do what I did when I do plumbing work. Not that I do that often.
So, okay, so we got that. Now, I'll angle this back up again. There we go. All right, got a little bit more RTV on here. Now, just cover your surface real good, like so. Around your bolt, or yeah, around your hole, your mounting holes, which will either be, normally will be bolts unless you've upgraded to studs, which we have on this particular motor. Okay, Liam's got his good and covered. Now, hopefully you guys can see this in frame. So now what we're going to do is you take your gasket and you very, very gently lay it over your holes first. Lay it in place. Push it up against that outer lip, just so slightly with your fingers. Okay, it's not going to go up against the lip all the way around. Now, your next thing is making sure all 4 of your holes are perfectly lined up. I got one that's a little out of whack up here on the top, so I'm going to slide it over just a hair. Then lightly, just so lightly push down on the gasket with your fingers, making sure that it's making contact all the way around. And that it hasn't popped out of its groove. And there you go. We will be right back with you guys in just a second, installing that intake manifold. Okay guys, we are now going to start the install, permanent install of the intake manifold. So, the gasket sets for your Chevys come with these rubber gaskets that go on your ends of your lifter valleys. They leak like a sieve. Don't use them. I'm going to show you the right way to do it and the way that pretty much everybody on the planet does it. Liam has the actual gaskets that we will be using. Now, these are marked on the face. They do have stamped where they say up. But yeah, that's those. And we will show you how those go on and how to get them to stay in place. Because they will like to slide around on you. But here we go. So, this is how hot rodders and normal people have been doing this since the beginning of time. No, since the beginning of the V8 maybe. Okay, so you take your gasket sealer. This is why I bought the big tube. And we're going to just put it like this. Kind of like a weld bead almost. You want it up there. Okay? Because it's a pretty significant gap that has to be filled here. Okay? You run it up just slightly on to the face of the head. I will show you why in just a second. Same thing on the back side. Do not cover the whole rail back here. I know it's tempting, but there is a oil hole back here that your oil pressure sending unit goes into, or a block off plug if you do not have an oil pressure sending unit. So do not go around that or try to cover it with RTV. You will make a mess. Okay, there's your RTV install. I'm going to let Liam get one gasket and I'm going to take the other so he can do this himself and know how to do it. Okay, on these gaskets, if you guys can see these little ears hanging down, those are why I ran the gasket sealer up just a little bit on the face of the head. You put those ears in it and they help keep the gasket up and on its bolt holes while you lay the intake in place. Sometimes they want to be a bitch.
Sometimes not.
They're not perfectly lined up. You will have to, at some point, use a screwdriver. We need to get our small screwdriver out. Oh, my bad. I forgot another little trick. Sorry. The stuff hasn't set up yet, so take your gasket with your fingers, rock it forward just like that, and stand it up on its ears just for a second. Now, we have two flat surfaces right here. These help. Just not even a bead. You just want a little smudge, like if you were in kindergarten and gluing something on a piece of paper with a glue stick. You just want a little smudge. Come on there, just like so. Just so. There we go. Glue stick style. All right. That little smudge will also help hold your gasket up where it needs to be. There we go. And we didn't mess up our bead on the end rails. There we go. It is lined up. It might shift slightly but that is okay. We'll go over here. We are going to get a small Phillips screwdriver. Okay. And you'll see why in a minute. Now, when laying on your intake manifold, sometimes these do take two people, especially if you're using the stock one that is cast iron. They weigh about fucking 60 pounds.
This one's small and light, so it should be
So
fine.
you're basically hovering over the top. You want to line up your bolt holes and come straight down so you get a good seal on your bead that is on the front and back of your motor. And we did.
Looks good. All the
Our
way
bolt
around.
holes are all lined up.
Yeah, they're perfect. Nice.
If we're slightly off, we do have the screwdriver.
But we don't need it.
These bolts go into water jackets. So you need to take your adhesive or your black RTV, get you just a little bit coming out, tap it, then stick it down in your hole, start threading it in. Okay. Why you do this is because it's basically a thread sealer and it will keep the water from leaking.
Last one.
Yep, last one.
The RTV.
I'm gonna dab some RTV on it,
Well, I have one of these.
and Liam's gonna start running the bolts in, and then once he gets those all snugged up. Now,
I think we're
I'm
supposed
going to let you guys know that even in your snugging up process, you still need to go in the recommended torque sequence on each bolt. So if it's telling you to go here and then here and then here and then and so on, that's what you got to do when you're snugging them up too. Okay? So Liam's going to do that and get the intake torque down. And while he's doing that, I'm down here on the low side installing our headers. I've already got all my tools, all my gaskets, and everything ready to go, so I won't have to get back up and interrupt this process. Okay, so far Liam is having good luck. I think he's probably the first person in history to have good luck with small block Chevy center intake manifold bolts.
Just gotta have the right tools, that's all.
Okay, now I'm going to re-angle the camera real quick, guys, so it's gonna get a little bouncy. But I'm gonna re-angle the camera so you guys can not only see what Liam is doing, but also see what I'm doing as well. There we go. And while I'm installing the headers, after Liam is done with the intake manifold, he will go ahead and install the valve covers as well. The headers can take a little bit of time, but the good thing is we're going to use the gaskets that came with the gasket kit. They will work as heavy gaskets. The cool thing is we can get the headers all started with the bolts, and then these have ears on them so you can slide them in place, okay, and then tighten everything down. Pretty cool. Okay, Liam is now doing the torquing on an aluminum intake manifold on a small block Chevy. Liam, tell them what they've won. What is the torque spec?
25 foot-pounds.
25 foot-pounds. There you go.
Because of aluminum.
Because of aluminum. And there is a proper sequence on torquing these, just like with your heads and everything else. So William is doing that, and I am now going to get started on the header install. Now, we did Liam off camera early this morning, took the time to tape off, clean up, and repaint our headers. So they have a nice fresh coat of paint on them, looking oh so fantastically pretty. So these are shorty headers, and they are specific to G-body cars. So yeah. Now, little side thing that you guys did not know, these were a regular set of headers, and Liam, I taught him how to do this, converted them to emissions legal. Basically, you take your smog tubes off of your factory intake manifolds, cut the nuts off of them, drill holes in your header tubes, slide these in. I don't know if you guys can see it or not. Slide them in to where they come into the, poke into the tube just slightly, and then weld them in place and weld them up, and boom, look at that, you have emissions legal headers. Pretty cool. So here we go. Getting to install this side. Liam is still torquing down the intake manifold bolts. We're getting some nice gasket sealer squish, so that's good. And in a matter of seconds, technically this header will be hung. Now, we do have the really nice, fancy locking nuts for these headers. But, however, we happened to lose the locking rings that go on them. We have no idea where the hell those went, so we're sorry about that to whoever gets this motor, but it should be fine. I'm going to use, what I like about these bolts, now header bolts will make you cuss too. And Liam is familiar with that already because he was the one that initially installed the headers when it was in the car. And especially your back ones, this one back here by the firewall and the heater box. Oh, it's so tight. And yeah, it'll make you cuss.
Be careful, the wet RTV is still on the block, so.
Oh, did you bump it, did you?
Yeah, I touched it.
You got a little on you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that happens.
You don't have, you can clean it up, you don't have to. It doesn't hurt anything. Just once it dries, it's better if you don't touch it.
Yeah, it's just got kind of a nice little bead poking out.
More in the back than the front.
The back you're never going to see.
The front
So
ain't
you're
too, the front ain't that bad.
Yeah, the front, you kind of want the bead because then it lets you know that you got a nice, good contact seal all the way across.
Which is very wet right now, so try not to touch it for a while.
Yes, so she ain't gonna leak. So Liam got that on, it's torqued down. Now he can start on the valve covers, or he can join me on doing his header on his side. The only bad thing is we've only got one of these.
Valve cover should be fine.
So I'm going to continue on with my bolt install here.
Branch, they're all tacked up now.
Yep.
Ready to go on. Just slip them on. Don't need to do anything
Yeah,
special.
slide them down right over the studs that are already in the heads. You guys
No,
can see them
no
right
RTV,
here.
no nothing.
Yep, don't need RTV on them. Not on that side. Just slide them down. And
If you have studs, it's great. It just guides it right down. You
Yeah.
don't need to like stab it or anything like
No.
that. And then try to put a bolt in there. It's much better.
And then seriously, with your valve covers, guys, I mean, they are literally just barely overhand tight. Okay, I got all my bolts started. Now, I'm gonna open up my bag of gaskets. Okay, like so. And we're going to take these, and the side that looks like aluminum foil is the side that faces your header. Now see this, they just slide right down in where they need to go. Sometimes you gotta do a little wobble. There you go. Just drop right down in there. Okay, then you got your center one, which is a double. Okay, slide it down right in there, do a little wiggle wobble of your header so it drops all the way down onto the stud. Then we do the same thing on the back one. Slide it down in there, little wiggle wobble, it's down in. Now Liam has his gaskets for his side. And I am going to officially tighten up my side. Now, like anything else, guys, headers are no different. You got to tighten them down equally. They sometimes can be tricky, especially when you have small tubes in the way. So William's going to get started on the other side. I demonstrated already on this side for you guys how to basically install them. So we're going to go ahead and get these finished up installed, and then we will be back to show them to you and to do the outro. So we will be right back. All right, guys. We are done for the day, and we accomplished everything today that we said we were going to. Intake manifold installed, valve covers installed, headers installed. Now, if you guys were not aware of the brand of our headers, they are Headmans. They aren't no cheap ass Flowtech or knockoffs. These are high quality Headman headers with a ball style socket on the end instead of just flat plate. But there you go. The small little headers are on, intake manifolds are on, valve covers are on. We're looking good. All we really got left to do now is stab the distributor and assemble what accessories we are going to be putting on the front of the motor, which is basic. It will have the water pump and the alternator and all the pulleys, and that's it. No power steering pump, no smog pump. Well, we threw the smog pump away, so it's gone. We do still have the back bracketry for it though, that will go with the motor. So whoever buys this motor, if they do live in a state where they have to run admissions, all the bracketry will be there to mount a new smog pump on it. The water pump is a wind. I showed that to you guys, I think in like episode 2. So yeah, and as you guys can see, we told you guys about this at the end of the last video. When your motor is not installed in anything, keep all your ports taped off so dust and critters do not wander into your motor. Okay, so that's going to end it for today's video. Please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so, hit the bell over in the corner so you get first alerts whenever we upload a new video. We will see you guys on Saturday on our live stream, 11 a.m., car talk and other things with Big D and Liam right here on our YouTube channel. Big D's and Liam's Custom Garage, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We will see you guys on Saturday. This week's topic, do your guys' research. We are, because we've been watching it live. Today is day 3. Our topic this week will be Drag Week. So get on YouTube, type in Hot Rod Magazine 2019 Drag Week, start watching the videos because that is our topic for Saturday. We will see you then. I'm Big D, he is Liam, and we're out.